Hey everybody, Ryan McCaffrey with IGN here, joined by the boss man himself, IGN's editor-in-chief, Steve Butts.
Hey Ryan, how you doing?
I am better now that we've got just the slightest little snippet of actual gameplay from one of my most anticipated upcoming Xbox One games, Quantum Break. And the reason I'm very excited about this game, Steve, even though we've seen so very little of it, is quite frankly because of its developer. Remedy has genuinely never made a bad game.
Yeah, I mean, from Alan Wake to Max Payne, I mean, they always deliver, so I'm super excited to see what they do here. What I want out of this trailer is a little bit more of the time travel mechanic that makes this game so interesting, and we're not seeing too much of that. We're seeing some of what we saw before in the previous ones, like this sequence here.
Yeah.
This is actual gameplay. A lot of
we
people
saw that
this.
at E3, actually, behind closed doors.
Yeah, a lot of people see that and they think, oh, that's pre-rendered or that's a cutscene, but no, the player is actually in control of themselves walking through this environment. Now, some of the specific shots here may not be representative of what you play in the game, but
right.
Yeah, you actually wander through the space. All those particles are real. They're around you.
It's a neat thing.
For people who don't know, so the premise of the game is that there's some time travel experiment that goes horribly wrong at a university, and a couple of the people who are caught in the wrongness of it all end up developing these time manipulating powers. And
right. Here are two good guys, Jack Joyce and Beth Wilder.
Mm-hmm. And you get to play as both of these characters, right?
Well, you get to play as Jack and as the bad guy here, Paul Serene.
Mm-hmm. And I think Paul's power is the ability to sort of choose from alternate timelines, right? That's what
I'm not
heard.
100% sure. I'm not sure if old Sam Lake there, our friend, creative head at Remedy, has led on. Here's another scene that we saw, just a pre-rendered. Obviously, this is a video thing from the May 21st Xbox One reveal. But yeah, Paul creates the corporation Monarch, who you end up fighting against, and so he's using the time powers for, no doubt, his own personal gain.
Right. So if you back up a little bit, we do actually see a little bit of the cover-based shooting gameplay.
Yes.
That they talked about. Not super excited about that, but the idea that you have some kind of time powers in that context is kind of exciting. Like this sort of stuff, you see it in a lot of games. It's quite frankly not that amazing to have all these low walls and guns and stuff like that. So it doesn't really set this game apart.
Yeah.
But the time mechanic is what I think would make it really interesting, and I want to see how that plays out in the combat situations.
Now let's go back. See, now if we go, I think that this scene right here on this collapsing bridge, I think that this is probably gameplay. Like you are jumping across this just with a nice cinematic camera angle.
If not, maybe just sort of a quick time-driven event.
And I feel like right there, okay, so there obviously we have a time-stopping power. Now, you and I are not quite of the same mind here. You think this is gameplay?
I think it could be. Yeah, I think it could represent some of the things that the character will be called on to do. We know that each character is supposed to have their own specific manifestation of the time power, and maybe this is the one that this character gets to use.
Yeah, I'm thinking it seems a little too perfect, but then again, it is a trailer, so
sure.
You obviously have this power. I'm not entirely sure that that's actual gameplay that you're controlling, but no doubt that is representative of what you're going to get up to in the game.
One thing we're not seeing is the live-action footage, though. That was kind of confusing to me when I first saw the game.
Right.
Is it a TV show? Is it pre-rendered? Is it live-action?
Yeah, I think Microsoft in general has taken the May 21st feedback to heart, and I don't think we're going to see much of any live-action anything, any TV things played up for some time until maybe Halo TV. I think that's what they might use to be like, okay, this is what we meant by TV, a live-action Halo TV series. But yeah, I think I agree here. I think we need to establish what Quantum Break the game is before we can understandably delve into what the hell the live action TV show element is that ties in with it.
But it kind of makes sense now, having sort of been through E3 and seen Microsoft's messaging, and now we have the box in our houses.
By the way, check out this dude in the background. This guy cracks me up. Like, oh, we're shooting a video here, pal.
You're ruining
Could you
everything.
not walk by? The boss is in here recording, but you got to ruin the shot.
But I think the idea is that your choices in the game will then unlock episodic live action content in the game as well, which makes sense now. Like having played with the Xbox One and seeing what their presence is or what their context for the TV experience. You know, people joke when they did the initial reveal, there was that video cut where they're just saying TV over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But I think that makes sense in the context of something like Quantum Break, and It even makes sense, well, like you said, with the Halo thing with Steven Spielberg. Like, it's really clear that Microsoft is trying to meld those two worlds, and I'm really excited to see what that means. I have no idea whether it's going to work or not.
And I've stopped the video right here. I wonder, see those two highlighted bits? I wonder if those are some sort of gameplay element in the sort of right middle of the screen there behind those.
Could be that. Crates. Yeah, it could be lens flare. Could be something that you have to pick up. It's all kinds of unanswered questions here.
But now these guys, for those that don't know, besides Alan Wake, if you're an older school gamer like Steve or myself, we mentioned at the top, these guys did do Max Payne 1 and 2,
which is
before they sold it to Take-Two and Rockstar. And so you can pretty much see a lot. This game is going to be one hell of an action game. I'm pretty confident in saying that the gunplay is going to be real good.
Yeah. I mean, I was a big fan of the original Max Payne. I even like the sequel. So, I mean, these guys definitely have bona fides. I mean, they know what they're doing with regard to storytelling in games. If you played Alan Wake, I mean, it was a fantastic experience. And Max Payne even had a pretty good story.
It did.
And just great realistic visuals. They recreated a version of New York City that was incredibly authentic for its time.
And now this is probably the most concrete bit of gameplay we get in this whole trailer right here, using your slowing down time to thus speed yourself up and then chase in to get to that guy firing at you from behind cover. So think Max Payne with time powers.
That sounds awesome.
And that could be pretty good. I do think.
And you said before, Monarch is sort of the evil corporation that one of the
Paul Serene,
victims
your
of the
main
experiment
nemesis,
creates. But we don't understand sort of what he's after or why the main characters, Jack and Beth, are trying to stop him, right?
Correct. We don't quite have a picture on that yet.
Now, do we know is this going to be a seasonal episodic experience? Is Microsoft planning for a
They have not said.
Season?
You know, we're still not clear on that. All we know is that there are TV show elements that are intertwined in the game, as you mentioned earlier, but the exact scope of this still remains to be seen. I've got to figure this is probably a holiday 2014 game. Would not surprise me to see it slip into 2015, because Remedy is not known for cranking out games very quickly. And I say that fully complimentary. I mean, the results speak for themselves. So if these guys end up going into 2015, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
And it's not like they're hampered as the MMO developers of Defiance are with a TV production schedule that they have no control over.
That's true.
Because that game is also tied to a show that's on Sci-Fi. But it sounds like this is much more focused on the game, and each player's version of the television show, or I don't even know if we can call it a television show.
Well, I'm sure it'll air on Xbox TV, right? You would think.
But each player's experience could conceivably be a little different. So you and I might have different episodes based on the way we play the game.
Correct. And the difference between this and Defiance is on the TV side. Remedy is producing the TV show themselves, whereas the Defiance thing was just there was a game developer, and then the Sci-Fi TV network was doing all the TV stuff. So it's a little more vertically integrated here. But yeah, a lot to look forward to. This is an Xbox One exclusive. And we're going to be all over this one, Steve. This is definitely one that's high on my list. You can expect all of the first coverage for Quantum Break to be right here on IGN.